Safe distancing measures will be rolled out across the public transport network in Singapore. All trains, train stations, buses, bus stops and interchanges will be progressively marked with safe distancing stickers. The number of passengers entering train stations and buses will be limited. Thermal scanners will also be deployed at selected MRT stations to provide an additional layer of screening. Transport ambassadors and bus captains, together with LTS officers, will help to enforce these measures. To discuss more on these measures implemented for public transport, we have senior transport correspondent Chris Tan with us. Hi, Chris. Now, Chris,
Hi.
When the first round of social distancing measures was introduced some time back, many netizens had already asked if the measures also applied for commuting on public transport. Now, why are the safe distancing measures only implemented now?
Well, first of all, I think initially when we had all these measures coming on, it was not going to be possible or feasible for safe distancing to be implemented in public transport simply because buses and trains are very packed, especially during peak hours. 7.7 million trips are made a day, and the bulk of that is concentrated during the morning and then later in the evenings. If you were to implement safe distancing, it's going to be almost impossible, right? At its most crowded level, a train will accommodate up to 4 commuters per square meter. Now, if you were to apply our 1 meter distancing, safe distancing measure, you would have to probably increase your resource by 3 times at least, and people will have to wait 3 times longer to get on a bus or a train.
Right. So, Chris, you're saying that, of course, the challenges to implement these measures for public transport, they are quite different and almost more difficult, as it were, comparing to implementing safe distancing measures, say, at food establishments or shopping malls?
That's right. For the reasons I just explained, the crowding during normal times, it just makes it practically impossible to implement these measures. But now, with more and more companies allowing their employees to work from home, and then with the latest measure that 100% of all learning institutions, schools, to have e-learning at home, volume on our trains and buses are a lot lower. The latest figure before the latest set of measures were rolled out tells us that it has fallen by 50%. That means half the volume. With the latest measures kicking in this week, we expect the crowd to be even smaller. And by virtue of that, we are able then to roll out the safe distancing measures that we talked about.
Right. Now, Chris, under the new law that bans gatherings at public or private spaces, offenders can be fined, jailed, or both. Now, would this new law also apply in this instance? If not, is there any penalty for commuters who fail to comply with the safe distancing measures on public transport?
The same legal framework applies here. So anyone who does not, keep a safe distance between each other on the trains or buses or at the stations and refuse to budge, even though an enforcement officer or transport ambassador tells them to, they can be taken to task.
Right, so the same law applies, for in this instance as well. Now, Chris, what more can be done by, say, the Transport Authority or even public transport operators to ensure commuters can travel safely?
I think a lot of it would have to, come back to the individual. The individual, in this instance, can do a lot for himself and as well as for others by simply wearing a mask when you go out.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time. That was our senior transport correspondent, Chris Tan, with the safe distancing measures that will be rolled out for the public transport network in Singapore.